And we're still tracking top stories from the United States of America. Now, the United States will breach the debt ceiling as early as on June 1st, which may result in a debt default. This could happen if the U.S. Congress fails to raise the debt ceiling. The U.S. Treasury has warned it could run short of cash to pay its bills by the month of June. This is as per a letter by the Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. Listen.
As you know, I've asked Congress to raise or suspend the debt limit. Since 1789, the United States has always paid its bills on time, and it must continue to do so. In my assessment and those of economists across the board, a default on our debt would trigger an economic and financial catastrophe.
Yellen further said that the Congress must act quickly to raise the debt ceiling to avoid a default on the federal government's debt. U.S. President Joe Biden has called for a meeting on May 9th with 4 top congressional leaders at the White House for the same. Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, House Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Republican Leader Mitch McConnell will meet Joe Biden next Tuesday at the White House. As per the reports, the president will discuss initiating a separate budget process during this meeting. Here's how Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer reacted to the situation.
The House Republicans have taken the American people hostage. As you know, yesterday, Secretary Yellen warned that the U.S. government will likely default on its debt obligations as soon as June 1st. That's only 30 days from now. Rather than listen to reason, Speaker McCarthy has caved to extremists. By passing the Default on America Act, he's handed the keys over to the House Freedom Caucus, who are more than happy to let the U.S. default if they don't get every last cut and every last unrelated hard right policy that they want.
However, the Republican lawmakers want spending cuts in return for raising the debt limit. They say that the budget's current path is unsustainable. Biden and the congressional Democrats want to raise the debt limit without any conditions.
We've done our job. I've sat down with the president on February 1st. He ignored the rest of the time. He treats it just like the border. He wants to ignore it and thinks it goes away. That doesn't work in America. He's putting the American economy in jeopardy by his lack of action.
For more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has sent us this report from New York. Take a look.
While the back and forth in Washington continues, it's important to note that deficit spending and the national debt go as far back as the founding of the Republic. In fact, during the past half century or so, there's only been a handful of years where government spending did not surpass the collected tax. However, in recent years, whether it was to combat COVID-19 or the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, or covering the enormous costs of an aging population, these numbers have grown exponentially. And no one in Washington wants to be blamed for causing a default. But on the other hand, it's something that everyone knows. The status quo is anything but sustainable. It's during these times that the American people, however, find themselves in a peculiar situation. They're constantly being told, notably by Democrats, that no matter how much tax they pay, they're just not able to cover the costs in Washington. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.